Raise your right hand. You swear or affirm the evidence you're about to present in the matter under hearing should be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Your Honor, are you judging me? And no law is above God's law. So I cannot honor any of your laws. It supersedes every single law that you guys have given me. I am friends with the IRS.
If you're a fan of wild courtroom moments and real legal drama, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It truly makes a difference and helps us keep bringing you more gripping content like this. Now, let's get into today's case, and trust me, it's a wild ride from start to finish that we've got a truly bizarre hearing on our hands today. The woman you see in the top left corner of the screen is appearing before the court over an unpaid bill of roughly $2,000, which includes court fees and related penalties. But instead of owning up or presenting a clear legal argument, her entire defense is built around a bizarre claim. She insists that she's not a citizen and says she only recognizes God's law, claiming it overrides all man-made rules, despite the fact that she's previously been caught shoplifting and involved in other troubling incidents. She tries to argue that the laws of the land don't apply to her. It's an outlandish and confusing stance, and the court wastes no time challenging it. The judge, who keeps a calm but firm attitude throughout, has a unique way of dealing with her claims. You'll see that his reactions, although composed, are filled with subtle disbelief and the occasional bit of dry humor. It adds an interesting layer to the hearing and makes it all the more compelling to watch. As the hearing unfolds, the prosecutor and even the defense attorney struggle to maintain patience while dealing with her erratic logic. Eventually, the judge lays down a sentence that feels justified given her refusal to acknowledge the authority of the court or take responsibility for her actions. This one is definitely worth watching for the sheer absurdity of the arguments being made and the way the courtroom handles the situation. Big shout out to court nerds for capturing this gem. I'll be chiming in with thoughts as we go, but let's get into this strange yet fascinating legal showdown and watch how it all
We're asking that Ms. Lott is incarcerated until the $2,755.40 is paid, Your Honor. And Your Honor, I am asking for attorney fees for today, Your Honor, and even me having to file this motion and continue to, I guess, seek attorney fees from Ms. Lott, Your Honor.
What are you asking for today?
Your Honor, for today, Your Honor, I'm asking for $1,500, Your Honor. And I can provide my affidavit to the court, Your Honor. We had to communicate with the court, Your Honor. I've been practicing law since 2008, Your Honor. I've been in good standing since that time, Your Honor. I charge my client a flat fee of the $1,500 just to try to see, just so we can file this motion for incarceration.
All right, Ms. Lott, raise your right hand. You swear or affirm the evidence you're about to present in the matter under hearing should be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Your Honor, are you judging me?
You want to call it that, but I assume you want to testify on your own behalf.
Yes, I do. And if the attorney is not going to be sworn in, that is a conflict of interest. And I have filed motions. I filed a quo warranto because I have searched for law licenses and I have not found any. There's been no true judges since 1789. And the United States filed a Chapter 11 in 1933, which lost their sovereignty as a government. So I can't even be heard here. I have asked the court to provide me documentation stating that this is an Article 3 court. I have not gotten anything back from the judge with any type of documentation from the Attorney General, from the Secretary of State. You guys have not had permission to try me, and no law is above God's law. So I cannot honor any of your laws. It supersedes every single law that you guys have given me. I have tried to settle this in court. I have filed a fiduciary relationship, 56. I am friends with the IRS. I have attempted to settle with a $20 money order because there is no money with the court, and everything was sent back. So rejection of payment is payment, Your Honor. And my religion strongly prohibits any satanic laws or rituals, and I cannot serve two masters. So either I don't even know what to do here in this matter, because I have asked to be tried in an Article 3 court. This is not a court of equity. God's law trumps all laws made by man. God also says no man should be judged or you will be judged. This is my religion. I have not broken any of God's laws. I have not committed any crimes. I have not harmed my offspring. I am the first lien holder on my child's estate. So there is nothing that I can do for Miss LaFleur, and I will not be paying it because my God told me not to. He gave me the instructions on what to do, and you guys refused it. You guys refused my quo warranto because it wasn't written in the way that you accepted, but I am not under your laws. I am friends with the IRS. I have sent out my documentation. I have my own contract with myself. I don't have a contract with you guys. I have not signed anything, and I am not a 14th Amendment corporate war citizen. I am a natural person. That is what I have to say.
You have any questions for Ms. Lott, Ms. St. Fleur?
Yes, Ms. Lott, were you present in court for the petition for legitimation with Tariq Crump?
Ms. LaFleur, can you provide me your...
It's St. Fleur. It's St. Fleur. It's not LaFleur. If we're gonna quote all of these articles, make sure you get my name right. It's St. Fleur.
St. Fleur?
It's St. Fleur. Were you in court? I mean, I'm not sure if any of the articles could tell me, but were you in court?
Questions. I have no further answers for any of your questions. I said what I said. This law does not trump God's law. I'm under God's law, and that's it.
Well,
HOL, that entire statement she gave? It was basically a long stretch of words that didn't add up to anything meaningful. Watching the judge sit through it with a straight face is impressive on its own. Whether it's from decades on the bench or just incredible patience, he somehow doesn't flinch, even as this defendant launches into a confusing monologue filled with vague references and personal beliefs. Her argument centers on the idea of a sovereign law, the belief that she doesn't fall under the jurisdiction of the court or the government. And sure, at surface level, it's easy to understand why someone might feel skeptical about government authority. Nobody likes feeling controlled. But here's where her logic falls apart. She's not just rejecting authority, she's actively been involved in illegal activity, shoplifting, for example, and has racked up unpaid fines. When you knowingly break the law, then refuse to comply with legal consequences, the court has every reason to respond with real penalties. This isn't a case of misunderstanding or a person caught in a broken system. She wasn't framed. She wasn't misidentified. Her actions led her to this courtroom. So the notion of sovereign immunity simply doesn't hold weight here. It's not resistance, it's denial, whether she genuinely believes in what she's saying or is just putting on an act to avoid accountability. It's hard to say. Some people adopt these arguments as a strategy, hoping to dodge punishment. Others might be entirely serious. Either way, the outcome should be the same. You can't claim to be outside the law after knowingly violating it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think she's genuinely convinced by what she's saying, or is this just a performance? Personally, based on her tone and the way she carries herself, it seems like she may actually believe what she's saying. There's a level of detachment from reality in her approach that's difficult to ignore. Whatever the case may be, it's clear she's not facing consequences just for her beliefs, but for her actions. And as we head into the second part of this hearing, things get serious. The judge, who's been calmly listening this entire time, finally speaks up, and when he does, he delivers a firm, no-nonsense response. The sentence he gives isn't sugar-coated. It's direct, it's pointed, and it might just be what she needs to face the reality of her situation. Let's jump into the next part of the hearing and watch how the court brings this back to the real world, where actions have consequences. And laws still apply, no matter what belief system you claim.
Days to pay this $2,755.40. Do you have any proof that any payment was made?
I have the proof here, and this was sent back to me. This is the money order that I sent to the court.
That's that $20 thing you said?
Yes, it is. That is the settlement that is written in your laws. I did send the thing. They rescinded back, and refusal of payment is payment. So I will handle it with the IRS from here.
Well, $20 doesn't equal $2,755.40.
Or any court fees cannot supersede to $20, and that is what I paid as a natural person. I don't know about any U.S. citizen. I'm not a U.S. citizen. I'm a natural person and a private American. I have not committed any crimes under God's law. I have not stolen. I have not bear false witnesses. I have not killed anyone. I have not dishonored my mother and my father, and I have not put any man before God, and I will not put any of you guys before God either.
Fine. All right, Ms. Lott, I'm gonna find you in contempt of court for failure to pay the $2,755.40. Order you incarcerated, that is jailed, until you've paid the money.
I will be taking it up with the IRS, and I will be filing liens because you guys do not have liens over myself, my estate, or my child. So
You'll take it up with the sheriff first.
no, I will not, because the sheriff does not have any jurisdiction.
Turn yourself in, or the sheriff will come out and arrest you.
Jurisdiction over me, and the sheriff does not have any jurisdiction over
That's
me.
fine. Once you're released, I'll give you 90 days to pay an additional $1,500 for attorney's fees incurred by the plaintiff for today's proceeding. And I'll ask Ms. St. Fleur to submit the order.
Will do, Your Honor.
And include in that, the sheriff will notify the court when Ms. Lott has been arrested.
Can you guys provide me with evidence that you are Article 3 court and not a military court?
And we'll send you a copy of the order.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around what her strategy was here. Did she genuinely think that showing up, acting confused or defiant, and tossing around abstract legal theories would somehow convince the court to back down? If so, it's a serious miscalculation. From start to finish, her approach just didn't make sense, and it only made her situation worse. Rather than present a clear defense or even express some kind of remorse, she seemed to rely on chaos, trying to sidestep responsibility entirely. But in the real world, especially inside a courtroom, that kind of behavior doesn't hold up. She ended up with a 6-month sentence for failing to pay $2,000 in court-ordered fees tied to a previous shoplifting charge. And honestly, given how she handled this entire hearing, the sentence seems entirely appropriate. What we're seeing here is a textbook example of someone falling into a mindset where personal accountability disappears, replaced with what feels like a constant state of victimhood. That mentality seems more common than ever these days, where people use confusion, deflection, or ideology to avoid simply saying, "I made a mistake." Now let's talk about how the judge handled all of this, because it was a masterclass in professionalism. He kept a calm demeanor, barely said a word during her long-winded arguments, and waited patiently until it was time to speak. No drama, no raised voice, just facts. When he finally delivered the sentence, it was direct, measured, and exactly what the situation called for. You can tell this isn't his first time dealing with someone trying to bend the rules or avoid the system. He approached it all with a kind of seasoned calm, like someone who's seen every kind of courtroom stunt imaginable. There's something to admire in that, especially in a world where emotional outbursts often overshadow reasoned responses. The truth is, this case could have gone differently. If she had just come in, taken some responsibility, and shown a little bit of maturity, maybe the court would have worked with her on the fees. But instead, she doubled down, pushed the court's patience, and now she's facing real consequences, and that's the bigger lesson here: actions have consequences. The law doesn't care about how confidently you speak or what theories you believe in. If you break it, and especially if you ignore repeated chances to correct your course, you're going to face the outcome eventually. It's not about harsh punishment, it's about structure, fairness, and accountability. Whether this jail time will change her perspective is hard to say. Some people come out more grounded, others don't. But from what we've seen, she seems locked into the belief that she's above the rules, which isn't just misguided, it's dangerous. Let me close with this: staying out of legal trouble is a lot easier than people make it out to be. The best defense in life is usually just doing the right thing. You don't need to perform, you don't need to argue with reality, and you definitely don't need to claim a made-up exemption from the law. Just stay grounded, be honest with yourself, and take responsibility when needed. That wraps up this breakdown. If you found this commentary helpful or interesting, feel free to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us continue covering stories like these. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Do you think this sentence was fair? Do you see more people using this kind of defense? Let me know, and as always, Take care and stay informed.